Okay, hello everybody. I thought what I would do is give you a very short overview of what I would consider a kind of review of the exam and the structure, but more specifically the type of questions I ask. And this, coupled with the review that I've given you, should put you in good stead for your preparation. Okay, so as I said in class today, the exam is next Thursday at 11 o'clock. I've just sent you an email with some logistical information on that. I'll provide the scantrons and so on. That's all in the email that's just gone out to you. In terms of the exam, though, here's how I approach it, right? I'll give you 50 multiple choice questions. And the questions are phrased and framed for you to think rather than just regurgitate information. So when you look at the review, yeah, as I said in class today, certain facts are important, right? The population of the world, I need you to know that. But so is context. And I'll show you that as I point out a couple of questions, or at least the type of questions that I ask. Multiple choice, I'm also, I hope, having done this for a few years, consistent in my approach. There is a correct answer for each one, right? There aren't ambiguous answers, and I also give you a wide range so that if you haven't specifically learned the material, but you can maybe think logically through a question, you should be in good shape. So, for example, if I was to ask you the population of a certain country, let's say I was asking you the population of the United States, and it's about 330 million, your choice will never be 329, 329 and a half, 330, 330 and a half. That would be silly, right? I will give you broad ranges so that you can think about that logically. So yeah, there are multiple choice, there are graphs to interpret, there's some simple calculations, please bring a calculator, and there's some data that you've never seen before relating to some countries and the demographic characteristics of those countries. I set 4 types of exam questions: knowledge-based questions, which are which does focus on the recall of information; comprehension type questions, right, the interpretation of information; application, which is using some information to solve problems; and analytical type questions, where I'm asking you to break down the material into its constituent parts. So here's an example, right? Here's a knowledge-based question. About what percent of the world lives in acute poverty? Now, don't panic if you don't know the answer to this, because we didn't actually specifically cover the percentage of the world that live in acute poverty. But had we, you would have a choice between 0.2 to 20, 55, and 70%. You can see I can give you quite a range there. The answer, incidentally, there would be 20%. My point in showing you this is that that's the knowledge-based question, right? Here's a comprehension-based question. Utilitarian conservationists tend to believe that resources should be saved because they are important. Okay, why is it a comprehension question? Because you need to understand and comprehend what utilitarian conservation really means. Remember, that is the same as pragmatic resource conservation. So they believe that resources should be saved as a home for wildlife and a conservation of aesthetic values, to our understanding of the biosphere, for a strong economic system and used by all living things. Well, it has to be for a strong economic system. Remember, pragmatic or utilitarian conservation is the approach espoused by President Roosevelt, right? That we should use our resources, but use them for the greater good for the people here and now, for homes, buildings, for the economy. Okay, here's another one. This is an analytical type question. If you had a population declining over time, the question is, the doubling time for this curve is constant, unpredictable, continually increasing, continually decreasing, and none of the above. So as the population is decreasing over time, it's taking longer and longer for that population to double. So the doubling time is increasing there. And then the final one, straightforward application. If the world population growth rate was 10%, then the population would double every how many years? 2, 7, 25, 55, or 125. So you would need to know the formula for doubling time. That's 70 divided by the percentage, right? So 70 divided by 10 gives you an answer of 7%. So those are the types of questions that I set, and I've set similar questions in your quizzes. Just incidentally, as a reminder, those quizzes will open up 24 hours before the exam, so you'll be able to review those then. All right, that's really all I wanted to go for. Just quickly give you that overview. On Tuesday, I will cover nuclear. Nuclear will be in the exam. And again, I'll be available on Sunday if you have any questions.